Nestled beside the coastal town of Denmark in the deep south of Western Australia lies the picturesque Wilson Inlet. For over 3 decades, the local community has worked very hard to protect this estuary and the rivers that flow into it. In 2007, Wilson Inlet and its catchment, that covers just over 2,000 square kilometres, became part of the International Living Lakes Network. This occurred after local community group Greenskills nominated this estuary to bring global attention to the issues facing Australian wetlands. The inlet and its surroundings is the traditional home of the Menang and Pibbleman family groups, part of the Noongar people. Here, Noongar elders, family and friends meet at the Wetlands Centre in Denmark and share their stories and links to this land.
It's just beautiful out here. It's ancient, you can feel it all around you. And we're looking at these old paperbarks, the yulba, and these are some of the oldest ones that I've ever seen, just by looking at the bases of them. It's very special, you can feel the spirit of this country and it's all coming back to life again. What do you think about that, Aunt?
The Ural is a big part in the Noongar survival. What they used to do years ago when they were in swampland or anything like that, they used the paper bark to cover their maimais so that the rain doesn't go through. They also used it as matting so that they could sleep on a dry surface. So really the paperbark played a real important role in Noongar history and Noongar lifestyle.
Another important wetland for Noongar people is Blue Lake, which is located in the secluded Jarrah Forest of Mount Lindesay National Park. Its Noongar name is Quorkipe, or Lake of the Brush Wallaby. In recent years, Noongar elders and youth work teams are helping conserve this place with the support of South Coast NRM's Cultural Connections project and the WA Department of Parks and Wildlife. Adjacent to Blue Lake are ancient lizard traps.
So this is one of the lizard traps that I was referring to before, and in areas where they were camping and where there was granite rock like this, they would always put these lizard traps here, and as you're passing through, the first thing the lizard does is want to hide, and it makes it really easy for us to come and get them, because a lizard will always protect its head and try and hide its head, but have a bad trait of leaving the tail out. So that's what these sort of things do, and we're probably looking at about 100 by 50 metre granite outcrops, and they're just covered with lizard traps everywhere.
The inlet is a haven for shore and water birds, and it is listed in the top 100 most important wetlands for migratory shorebirds in Australia. Local birdwatcher and conservationist Brad Kneebone explains the significance of this.
Today we're at Morley Beach, at the far end of Wilson Inlet, and this special and beautiful place is the summer home of many hundreds, often thousands of migratory shorebirds. They come from the northern hemisphere in the Siberian Arctic and tundra, and they arrive here after travelling something like 10 to 12,000 kilometres. These shallows and extensive mudflats support over 20 species of migratory shorebird, and these include familiar species like the redneck stint, common greenshank, godwit and sharp-tailed sandpiper. These birds will spend most of the summer here together on nearby wetlands, and they need to put on a lot of weight. To do this, they will be eating benthic invertebrates like worms, crustaceans, small crustaceans and mollusks in order to put on the weight that they need to make that journey back to the northern hemisphere, which is a huge distance, which is incredibly risky for them. Not all will survive that journey. Because of the high populations of these shorebirds at Wilson Inlet, it has been identified as a wetland of international significance. And this requires the inlet to be specially managed. For example, shorebirds need low water levels in summer in order to expose the mudflats that they need to feed on. And that's very important for the migratory and the endemic shorebirds.
Landholders in the Wilson Inlet catchment have also taken up the challenge of bringing degraded swamps and lakes on farmland back to life. Mount Barker farmers Arthur and Sue Patterson, who run cattle on their Hay River property, discuss how they have successfully restored a wetland.
We've been farming on the block where Ongarup Lagoon is since 1985. We run a few cattle there, but we also like to look after the environment.
We've done things like around the house here, we've replanted a whole lot of vegetation. But out where the Ongarup Lagoon is a much bigger task. The area around it was just a salty wasteland and it grew nothing. Historically, the lagoon had been drained and that drain had become blocked up. And we took steps to open up the drain again and drain the salt water out. And over the years, we took about 3 or 4 years to flush the salt out of the system. And it means that the fauna and flora has changed from saltwater stuff back to fresh water. And that was what we were aiming to do. We've also replanted a lot of vegetation around the edge of the lake, and that's become a great habitat for local wildlife.
Well, the first thing we did was we had a ripper mounder, and we ripped and mounded and then planted into those little tiny plants, and almost planted little fantail, didn't we, in one of the holes. He came and planted with us. But the revegetation grew fairly well. We had a couple of disasters, a little flood one year and then a dry year. But on the whole, we've got a pretty good tack.
Yeah, it's doing pretty well right now.
Wilson Inlet is now a shining light of a waterway being cared for by a local community and community groups. In a world where climate change, pollution and insensitive development is causing widespread decline, it is heartening to have inspiring examples like Wilson Inlet and its waterways where local efforts are making a difference.
Down.